What if I told you that before you took your first breath, your soul had already chosen this life? The struggles, the triumphs, the heartbreaks, the moments of joy that seem fleeting yet eternal. This life you are living, it's not random, it's not a mistake, it was designed by you. But here's the real question. Do you remember why? Most people drift through life like a leaf caught in the wind, believing they are powerless against fate. But what if fate was never something that happened to you, but something you wove into existence before you even arrived? If this idea stirs something deep within you, like an ancient memory you can't quite grasp, then type "I chose this life" in the comments below. Because by doing so, you affirm something most people will never even begin to comprehend. And if this resonates with you already, like this video, because what you're about to discover is something most will never hear, but was meant for you to find. In this journey, we will unravel the ancient wisdom that reveals how your soul, before birth, selected the very circumstances you now find yourself in. From the challenges you face to the people you meet, nothing is mere coincidence. There is a hidden order, a sacred design, a purpose beyond what your eyes can see. You were never lost. You simply forgot. By the end of this video, you will understand the esoteric truths hidden for centuries, truths that will shift your perception of reality itself. Are you ready to remember? Long before modern religions, before science sought to measure the soul, there existed a belief woven into the very fabric of ancient civilizations, a truth whispered in the temples of Egypt, inscribed in the Upanishads of India, and passed down through the secret doctrines of the Pythagoreans. They all spoke of something profound, that the soul doesn't simply appear at birth, it chooses, it remembers, it returns. The Egyptians believed that before entering the physical world, a soul would stand before the god Thoth in the halls of Amenti, where it would choose its lessons, its challenges, and even the people it would meet. To them, life was not a random event. It was a carefully crafted blueprint, a sacred journey toward enlightenment. In Plato's Republic, an ancient myth is told of Er, a soldier who died in battle, only to return from the dead, revealing what he had seen in the afterlife. He spoke of souls standing before the great cosmic forces, selecting the very lives they would live, some choosing power, others hardship, and a rare few choosing the path of wisdom. The Hindus and Buddhists held a similar understanding, known as karma and samsara, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. To them, life was a classroom, and the soul was the student, returning again and again, refining itself through experience, until it remembered its true nature. But here's where it gets interesting. Why do most people forget? Why do we enter this world with no recollection of what we chose or why we chose it? Because forgetting is part of the design. Imagine if you knew, from birth, every single hardship that would come your way. The betrayals, the losses, the moments of despair. Would you still go through them, or would you run? The veil of forgetfulness, spoken of in esoteric texts from the Gnostic Gospels to Tibetan teachings, isn't a mistake. It's the challenge. Because awakening is not about learning something new. It's about remembering what was always within you. Now the question remains. If your soul truly chose this life, why did it choose this exact path? And more importantly, how do you remember? Stay with me, because what comes next may change everything you thought you knew about your existence. If your soul chose this life, then every challenge, every heartbreak, every moment of joy, they were not accidents. They were chosen. But the question remains, why? To understand this, we must look beyond the physical world, beyond what the five senses can perceive. Because before you were here, before you were bound by flesh and form, You existed as pure consciousness, limitless and infinite. But there was one problem. You could not experience yourself. Think about it. How can light know itself as light without the contrast of darkness? How can strength be tested without struggle? The ancient mystics understood this paradox. For the soul to grow, it must forget its divinity and immerse itself in limitation. And so your soul, knowing its true nature, chose to enter the illusion of separation, to feel the weight of time, the fragility of emotion, the sharp edge of suffering, not as punishment, but as experience. Before birth, your soul stood at the edge of the infinite, selecting the life that would best serve its evolution. The challenges you face? They are not random. They are precisely the lessons you needed to refine your being. Perhaps that betrayal you endured was meant to teach you discernment. That painful loss? A lesson in detachment. The struggles you've faced? A forge, shaping you into something greater. This is why so many of the world's ancient spiritual traditions, from the Stoics to the Sufis, the Buddhists to the Hermeticists, all taught the same fundamental truth. Suffering is not a curse. It is an initiation. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. If your soul chose this life, then it also chose the people you would meet. The friends, the lovers, the mentors, even the ones who hurt you. Why? Because each person you encounter serves a role in your soul's journey. Some are here to guide you, others to challenge you, and a rare few to awaken you. But if all of this is true, why do so many feel lost? Why do so many never awaken to the life they consciously chose? Because there is one final layer to this mystery, something hidden, something profound. And once you understand it, you will never see your life the same way again. If your soul chose this life, why do so many people feel trapped, powerless, or lost? Why do some repeat the same mistakes, the same toxic relationships, the same struggles, lifetime after lifetime? The answer lies in what the ancients called the veil of forgetfulness, the final barrier between who you were before birth and who you are now. You see, when a soul enters this world, it must forget where it came from, forget the choices it made, forget the vastness of its own being. Because without forgetting, there can be no true experience. Imagine playing a game where you already knew the outcome. Would you still play? This is the paradox of existence. You are both the architect and the traveler, the creator and the one experiencing the creation. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Throughout history, certain individuals have broken through the veil. Mystics, sages, shamans, those who have tapped into the deeper layers of consciousness and remembered. The Tibetan monks spoke of children who recalled past lives with stunning accuracy. The Gnostic texts describe souls awakening to their true origins and breaking free from the cycle of reincarnation. The Sufi mystics taught that deep meditation and suffering could reveal the hidden knowledge buried within. And this is where most people remain asleep, because the modern world conditions you to forget. From the moment you are born, you are told who you are, your name, your nationality, your identity. You are handed beliefs, fears, limitations, none of which you chose. But now, you are beginning to remember. So the question remains, how do you break free? How do you remember why your soul chose this life? How do you awaken from the illusion and reclaim your power? This is where knowledge meets practice, because the truth is, remembering isn't about learning something new. It's about unlearning everything that was placed upon you. And in the next part of this journey, I will show you exactly how to do that. Now that you understand that your soul chose this life, the real question is, how do you remember? How do you reconnect with the deeper purpose behind your struggles, your experiences, and your existence? The answer lies not in seeking something outside of you, but in peeling away the illusions that have covered your true self. There are three powerful methods that mystics, sages, and spiritual seekers have used for centuries to break through the veil of forgetfulness. If you apply them, you may begin to see glimpses of the life your soul chose, and why. First, meditation. The art of remembering the world is noisy. Your mind is filled with thoughts that are not your own, beliefs imposed by society, fears inherited from others. To hear the voice of your soul, you must learn to become still. Try this. Sit in silence, close your eyes, and ask yourself, why did I choose this life? At first, there may be nothing but silence. But if you keep asking, if you keep listening, the answers will begin to emerge, not as thoughts, but as deep, unshakable knowing. This is why ancient mystics meditated for hours, days, even years, because in stillness, the soul speaks. 2. Dream work. Accessing the hidden realm. There is a reason that dreams feel more real than reality itself, because sometimes they are. Many spiritual traditions believe that dreams are a gateway, one of the few places where the soul remembers. Start keeping a dream journal. Write down everything, no matter how strange or fragmented. Over time, you may begin to notice patterns, symbols, places, even people you don't consciously remember but feel deeply familiar. These are messages, clues, pieces of the puzzle your soul left behind. 3. Synchronicities. Following the signs. Have you ever had a moment that felt too perfect to be coincidence? A number appearing repeatedly. A person entering your life at just the right time. A message appearing exactly when you needed it. These are not random. They are signs. Breadcrumbs left by your higher self to guide you back to your true path. The key is to pay attention. When something feels significant, pause. Reflect. Ask yourself, what is the universe trying to show me? If you begin practicing these three things, meditation, dream work, and awareness of synchronicities, something incredible will happen. You will start to remember. Not in the way your mind expects, not as a sudden flood of memories, but as a deep, undeniable feeling that you are exactly where you are meant to be. And once you remember that you chose this life, everything changes. Fear loses its grip. Regret fades. Challenges become opportunities. Because you realize you are not a victim of fate, you are the creator of it. So tell me, what will you do with this knowing? Now you know the truth. You chose this life. Every moment of joy, every moment of suffering, every person who entered your path. None of it was random. It was a design, a choice, your choice. But knowledge alone is not enough. What will you do with this knowing? Will you continue sleepwalking through life, believing yourself to be a victim of fate? Or will you rise, conscious, aware, and awakened, to the truth of your own existence? Because now, the power is in your hands. If this message resonated with you, if something deep inside you whispered, "I was meant to hear this," then type "I remember" in the comments below. Let the universe know that you are awakening, that you are reclaiming what was once forgotten. And if you want more of these ancient truths, revealed in a way most will never hear, like this video and subscribe, because this is just the beginning. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are exactly where you are meant to be.